Custom feeds. Custom feeds, customized viewing. It's going to be available on every platform, I hope. I'm sure there'll be some kind of algorithmic challenge with it, since it's the algorithm that will be deciding what kind of content fits the filters that you can essentially put in to customize your feeds. I'm sure some finessing will go on, but listen, customizing a feed is already available. I believe it's been available on X, on Threads, and now it's going to be available on YouTube. What does this mean for creators? I know for myself as a user, I'm hoping I'll see fewer sort of irrelevant slop, like not as much of that, which is actually getting quite irritating. A lot of the content that I'm being recommended is just sort of somebody reading out a chat GPT script, or it's generated. It's generated. It's not real. Of course it's real, Serena. Don't discriminate. Um, but what this means for creators is that you can really get into your niche, into your sort of it'd be interesting to see how this works, whether descriptions will need to be a particular way, whether they'll need to be tagged a particular way, categorized, all of that kind of stuff. But and I'm sure titles are going to play a big part of this, but at least you can really get into the specifics of what it is you have to offer. And what I have to offer, as you know, is leveling up your strategic thinking. That's right. I am Serena with more than 20 years of experience in comms and media. It's actually 25 years now. Within comms and media, I'm a chartered public relations practitioner. I'm studying systems thinking at an MSc level, and I'm here to provide entrepreneurs and creators with tools to level up their strategic thinking every Monday, every Monday. And so far, what I sort of perceive in the creator space is a constant, I would say, directive from established creators to say pivot this way, no, pivot that way. No, this is what I did and this is what I'm changing now. Or there is a clickbait title and a thumbnail, and it says, "This is why I quit," or "This is the end. This is the end, folks." And I don't do that because I probably should do it like other creators, because then maybe I'd get some more views. But I think the reason why I don't do it is because it feels really disingenuous. It feels frustrating as a viewer. And if I want to attract other people like me, other creators, entrepreneurs like me, other thinkers like me, then I don't want to do that clickbaity thing. I don't. I might need to change that strategy, that sort of approach. But I think that if you are going to really get into the niche, the specifics of what it is you want to offer, and we really can't be all things to everybody, then I think you've just got to look at every aspect of your workflow, your publishing, your promotion, and just make sure it all aligns. Like, it just wouldn't align if I started to get into clickbait, thumbnails, and titles. I find that that is quite a distraction from all of the actual work I've got to do in the real world. Like 95% of my work, active work, is offline. It's not like 95% of my work is creating content. No, it's 5%, which is why I give you unedited, reflective pieces over here on my Substack, on my commentary channel, and other produced content. Um, because I am a real advocate for being really involved in the offline world, in your specialism, in the practitioner space. And therefore, this should really serve you to really get into the specifics of what you do, what you know, and what you offer, so that when we do have our content recommended to somebody, it's exactly the kind of person that we want to connect with, that we want to reach. Now, let's see how this works out, this custom feed thing. Let's see how it works out on YouTube. But I know I would absolutely love to connect with like minded creators, entrepreneurs, and thinkers who want to create for the long term, not just for clicks, and who really want to invest in their sort of maturation, um, their sort of, I would say, crystallization process as an expert, as somebody who's always learning, who's always developing. And the idea of not always learning and not always developing frightens the hell out of me. And I just don't know how so many so-called expert creators spend so much time online and not enough time in deep reflection and actual deep doing of the thing. It's almost like, oh, this is me and my specialism talking to camera, and that's all I do, and that's what I'm going to talk about. And that's different. But if you are an educator, a strategist, a consultant, I'm all of the above, then you're going to have to be offline to do those things. And so for me, this content stuff is a tentacle. It's a tentacle for all the really good stuff. Like, this is good stuff too, but this is a tentacle. It's really about community. It's really about finding community and offering value. I don't really see it as content creation as such, but because we're working within a system of content descriptions and content distribution, and there's all these keywords and things that we need to think about in order to reach our peeps. You have to sort of package things, or you have to frame things so people get it and they get you and they appreciate you. So that's the kind of distribution aspects of it. But when you really think about the intention behind what you're doing and what you're offering, I really hope that there will be a bit of a acknowledgement from users and viewers, because I know I have this, an acknowledgement from users and viewers that there are creators who are quite frankly doing the work offline and offering their kind of crystallized, sort of synthesized, reflected value, over here to build community and to kind of help other people. Um so when I see this sort of, YouTube's new custom tool, and how it's going to potentially resolve this chaotic feed phenomena, I'm like, okay, then maybe I won't get as much slop. Maybe I'll actually reach the thinkers, the creators, the entrepreneurs, the doers, those who are seriously wanting to level up how they create and connect with their audience, and also how they approach their branding, their reputation, this kind of cluster of things that we have to do as people who are building brands in public, building online. You've got to do, so many different things, this sort of cluster, and they all sort of overlap with each other. So you're wearing multiple hats. And I have found this from being in the game for so long, trying different things as well. And I think that it's not always going to be as straightforward as trying one thing 1 month, or using ChatGPT or Claude or whatever it is to get your way forward. Um, you've you've got to do a lot of sort of critical questions. You've got to ask yourself these critical questions, like, why am I doing this? What am I here for? Why am I churning out all this content? I think about artists that I deeply respect and love. And there is one artist in particular, I've just seen her recent announcement, there's new music out, and it's Leanne La Havas, and I'm absolutely, I don't want to say fan. I have such deep respect for this artist, Leanne La Havas, and I've noticed that she's having to do the TikTok thing, but then she's also found Substack, and because she's this beautiful, profoundly impactful songwriter, she's posting poems every week on Substack. I think that's utterly gorgeous. It's brilliant. I mean, you wouldn't think, I mean, because Substack, I'm sure eventually, once it's got all of its plugins and ways to monetize music directly, but at the moment, it's essentially it's community building, right? For a musician, not quite. I mean, yes, you could embed links, you could put videos there and do some promo there, but you wouldn't sort of see Substack for a musician as a go-to. TikTok, yes. Instagram, yes. So to see Lianne La Havas on TikTok, but then also Substack, just gives me faith once again that you can make choices that can position you as a creator, entrepreneur, brand as you like, whilst working within this system. And I just really hope that this new custom tool on YouTube that will hopefully be available to everyone at some stage will really help us creators do just that. I appreciate you for listening, your time and attention. If you haven't already, please do subscribe and jump in the comments, like, share, do all those wonderful things. And if you would like more from me, well, every Monday there is a video as well as other pieces of content that I publish in other places. Everything is in the description. Have a wonderful creative week ahead, and I'll see you in the next one.